Hey everyone, in today's screencast we're actually going to be talking about adding Greek and Hebrew keyboards to your Windows operating system. So we've actually did a video earlier on adding these keyboards to your Mac operating system, but I don't want my Windows users to be left out. So we're going to talk about adding them to your Windows operating system so that you can use them for writing academic papers, doing your studies, as well as doing searches within your biblical software. So in order to get started, what we want to do is first let's add a Greek keyboard. So in order to do that, what we want to do is open our control panel. At the time of recording this, I'm using Windows 8.1, so Windows 10 is not released yet. So when you watch this, you might be using another version, perhaps you're using an older version or a newer version, but Windows 8.1. So I'm going to go into my Metro screen and open my control panel. And once you have your control panel open, go to the section called Clock, Language, and Region, and then click on Add a Language. And now if you're like me, you probably just have an English keyboard enabled, or you might have already enabled some other language keyboards in your layout. So in order to add a Greek keyboard, we want to go to Add a Language. And once we've gone into Add a Language, we want to scroll down till we find Greek, and then click Add. And now we have a Greek keyboard added to our Windows operating system. Now, the particular one that it defaults to is just called Greek. I actually am not going to want to use this one. Let's use a different one. To change the Greek input method, we need to go to Options and then Add an Input Method. With this, we have, look, there's a bunch of different Greek keyboards that we have available. Let's select Greek Polytonic as our keyboard option. This works best for when typing in Biblical Greek. And let's click Add. Now notice we have two input methods for the Greek language. We have Greek and Greek Polytonic. Let's go ahead and remove Greek just to keep one input method and keep it nice and simple, and then click Save once we've done this. So now our keyboard layout for the Greek language has been set to Greek Polytonic. So that's great. We can actually change now between English and Greek by going down to the bottom right hand corner in Windows, and in the toolbar click where it says ENG for English, and then we can select Greek from there. And now we can type in Greek. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go back to English. And now we're ready to add a Hebrew keyboard. Now for Hebrew keyboard, it's a little bit more difficult, but still pretty easy. And if you've already watched the Mac video, it's pretty much the same process. But the Hebrew keyboards included in Windows are actually not going to be the best for typing in Biblical Hebrew. So what we're going to want to do is go outside of Windows to our web browser, and we're going to go to the SBL site, which stands for the Society of Biblical Literature. So I'm going to go ahead and launch Google Chrome, which is my preferred web browser. And in the, I'm going to type out the URL sbl-site.org. And I'm going to go ahead and include this link in the description below, as well as include a little pop-up card here, so that way you can click on that and go directly to the site. But once we're at SBL site, we're going to go to Educational Resources, Biblical Fonts, and then within the Biblical Fonts page, select SBL Hebrew Font. So there's actually one place that we need to click in order to get this font downloaded, and this will download not only the font itself for typing, but also the keyboard layout. So we're going to go to SBL Hebrew Keyboard Driver SIL layout for Windows. So go ahead and click that to download the file. Once we've downloaded the file, we can go ahead and launch it to open it. And when you see this, you're going to see quite a few different files within this. There are two in particular that I want you to pay attention to. The first is the Biblical Hebrew SIL Manual. So go ahead and open that to view the PDF file. And what's really helpful about this is that it has an entire keyboard layout just showing you what each key is doing. So it shows us what the normal keys are, so you can see which Hebrew letter each English keyboard stroke will complete, but it also shows when you use modifiers like the Shift key. So pretty much Shift and regular are going to basically get you all the things that you need. But you can also do an Alt plus Control to get further diacritical marks that you might need to do your typing. So that's going to be really helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my control panel. And the other one that I want you to be aware of is Setup, because we're going to need to run this in order to install the keyboard layout on our computer. So go ahead and double click Setup to run the Windows setup, and it wants to know if I want to allow, and I'll say yes. And that's going to start the installation process, and it's just going to say installation complete. Once you get installation complete, go ahead and click Close. And now we want to go back to our control panel. So I'm going to go ahead and relaunch my control panel. Once again, add a language. Now we want to go down to find Hebrew. I want to add that. And then within the keyboard layout, we want to once again go to Options, and then make sure we have Biblical Hebrew SIL selected. If we don't, we have some other Hebrew, make sure that you select Biblical Hebrew SIL and add that. Most of you will probably have Hebrew added in here, and if you do, go ahead and remove that just like we did with Greek. And then make sure you save. So now we should have our language preferences looking like this. We have an English keyboard, we have the Greek polytonic, as well as the Biblical Hebrew SIL. And we know that we have all of this set. If we go down to our control panel or toolbar, click where it says English, and we can switch between Greek and Hebrew. So that's how you install the Hebrew and Greek keyboards on the Windows side. I hope that this video was helpful. If you found it helpful, we'd love to get you a like on this video. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Or if you'd like to see other videos, or you'd like to just tell me how helpful this was, make sure that you leave a comment below. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and hope that this was a blessing to you, and best of luck as you continue to study the Word.